Hello, and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. I understand the market is very boring, so I actually wanted to take the opportunity to take a look at a possible valid alternative wave count with you. I do mention it from time to time, but I want to make it quite clear in this video because the market hasn't really moved and it is getting very boring, but I just wanted to make sure that you're prepared, just in case maybe our support level breaks or we see an early rally. Okay, what could it be? Could it be the third wave rally already, or is there another, let's say, alternative? I always want to make sure that you're prepared, not get caught out. I mean, it's Sunday again, it's late Sunday, at least here in the UK. So we could potentially start to see a little bit of volatility come in towards that weekly candle close that many people are waiting for. I don't really use weekly candles in my analysis. Also don't use weekly candle closes in my analysis. A lot of people like to talk about them. I found them absolutely unreliable. There's no point saying, okay, this week is green, okay, then the next week will likely be green or whatever. There's absolutely no correlation I found personally. Okay, so far, what I wanted to highlight is that obviously off the November lows, that we've seen a series of bullish 1-2 setups. What I wanted to highlight to you is that obviously here, this 1-2 setup that we're dealing with at the moment, that should really take us higher in a third wave rally, ideally into the 40K region. Now, what I wanted to highlight is that, of course, if we get a rally from here, it doesn't need to be the third wave breakout yet. It could be something different. So we want to talk about an alternative. Is it something I primarily look for? No. But is it something I want to be prepared for? Yes. And I want to prepare you for that as well. But first of all, let's talk about our primary count. Just a reminder, nothing has changed. So the idea here is still that we rallied in a wave 1 into the July 13th of July highs. And then we're now coming back in a wave 2 into support. Somewhere from here, I would expect a third wave rally that could take us into the 40K region and then obviously higher. So we could get to 40, 50K eventually before we might see the first deeper retracement here. Okay. But we need to take it level by level. Absolutely. But condition for that is that the 26,280 level is holding. Ideally, I don't even want to get price down that much. I would like to get price to hold in the area between the golden ratio, the 61.8 retracement, and the 50% retracement at around 28.3K. So I want to see price come back lower, but to find some support somewhere there. We've got our micro count. I expect that micro count to change a little bit because it's moving in an ending diagonal. So we had a wave 1 to the upside. A wave 2 to the downside is currently unfolding, and I may actually want to tidy up the chart a little bit, take some of these subwaves out, because I know they can be a bit confusing maybe even. But what you need to understand that we have a wave 1, we have our wave 2, and I take these alternatives out here as well. But what happens if, for example, we're not going to come down a little lower and we just rally straight away? Or what happens actually if we go below 26,280? So my perspective on this channel is I want to get everybody prepared. Scenario planning is very, very important in trading. Trading isn't easy, so don't make it more difficult, but just focusing on one particular scenario. You need to know what happens if a certain condition isn't fulfilled anymore. So I want to give you another or a couple of scenarios that I think are also likely. They are nothing I primarily focus on, but while the market is slow, we can very much talk about them because something unexpected could happen, okay? Always expect the unexpected in these markets. But let's be honest, if something happens, let's say we rally from here, but eventually don't break out, the setup that we're dealing with would still work out. That's why I like so much the idea of scaling in. I scale in, we still see a reaction to support. It might not break out in a third wave. It might just be a larger corrective wave up. I can still take profits. That's why profit taking continuously is so important. The crypto market likes to do these sudden breakouts and then fail. Okay, but let's talk about, so this is the primary scenario anyway. I expect us to be in the wave 2. Come down a little lower, a few squiggles lower here in this C wave of wave 3 at the moment, in which we still are. No change to the wave count from previous videos. I expect this wave count to change and to morph because we're dealing with an ending diagonal, and these are very choppy anyway, and they change a lot. So I wouldn't even try to see this wave count as too predictive, but I use it to understand that, okay, we're probably not yet quite finished to the downside. It might, we probably still see a few squiggles lower, okay? So that's unchanged from previous videos. But what happens if, let's say, the unexpected happened? What could be an alternative wave count? And for that, I'm going to, first of all, let me save that. And then we're just going to create a quick Bitcoin alternative just here in this video together, just to give you a quick view of the alternative wave count that could play out. I'm quickly going to, yeah, so the idea is that, for example, this support area becomes irrelevant. If, for example, the 1-2 set, let me just quickly take that out. If, for example, the 1-2 setup here between the 10th of March, you know, this rally that started to end of March, maybe this wave 2 never finished. This is one alternative. I just explained that in the Ethereum video as well. Certainly a valid alternative. Again, it wouldn't be bearish, but it would just leave the door open for a little bit of a lower retracement, a smaller or deeper pullback, okay? And again, we can discuss if the wave 1 sits here or here. Doesn't make a great difference, also both valid, but let's just keep it simple. Let's leave the support area how it was. I think the wave 1 actually should sit here, but I've already measured the support area to that high. It worked out nicely anyway in June, okay? So that setup already worked out, but there's no guarantee that we completed this correction here. I can tell you, I assume currently that it's finished, and because we already reached the 50% retracement in a pretty much complete looking correction, so there's at the moment no reason to believe that it will come back into this area again. Yeah, I just want to make that very clear. This is not anything I'm primarily looking for, but it would be the next best bullish scenario if we lose micro support in the primary scenario, and that's at 26,280. It would then be quite likely that this wave 2 actually never finished. And I hope you appreciate that I show you that, you know, that stuff. I always try to make sure that I don't confuse people too much, because I know these different scenarios can be very confusing. But while the market is slow anyway, and everybody knows this chart in and out already, it might be worth, you know, putting out there a few of the alternatives which are likely. So it could be that this was just an A wave, the move up a B wave. Yeah, and again, where does the B wave sit? Again, there will be alternatives within alternatives, but just so that you get the concept, this is certainly something that is not unlikely, but that I would really only pay attention to if we break below 26,280. You can see this is not really anything bearish. It would just be a delay of the rally in a third wave. It would take 1-1-2 setup out. And yeah, but why do I not primarily look for it? Again, because the wave 2 already completed, well, at least a complete pattern completed, you could say, here on the 15th of June. Now, this can always extend out, but it reached the 50% FIB level, so it's quite reliable as a wave 2, and the rally was in 5 waves. You can always make the case it's a 3-wave rally, but it makes sense to count it as 5 waves, so it's nothing I'm primarily looking for, but it would be the second bullish scenario. And even within this scenario, you could say, okay, maybe this B wave never finished and we would get a ridiculously high B wave. But again, here also nothing I'm primarily looking for. That would be an alternative within the alternative wave count. So if we get a rally from here, which is corrective, it might be this, okay? But nothing I primarily look for. So, but yeah, I would find this one here not too unlikely. But as long as I don't have evidence for it by breaking through 26,280, it's nothing I primarily look for. But still want to make sure that you understand that if we break 26,280, which is our primary support, then we could come down to 22K in this alternative scenario. Okay, there's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.